join me in welcoming Gerben to the stage.
Well, it's an impressive audience. I will give indeed a presentation of how we can add value to the value chain, because there's a lot of talking about AR and what we can do with it, but I'm going to show you cases, what you actually can do with it, how you can save money, reduce costs. I'm Gerben Harmsen. I'm from a company called Twinkles AR. We're based in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, and we're a small company in the AR field. We're only with 20 FTE. I will have 3 slides for you to explain something about our company, what we do. I have one case for you for one of the most sexiest products in the field of AR, and that's for stair lifts for elderly and handicapped people. And I invite Jordy, one of our customers from WeMo International, and Jordy will tell something about the Operator 2.0. That's a HoloLens project that we're doing with them right now. Well, this is where we're located, not in the central station, but near central station in Rotterdam. And it's always a pleasure to be in Berlin, but it feels really good with all the, well, architecture here. And we have a lot of new architecture in Rotterdam as well. We're a small company, and actually today I could make some announcements because we have the first girl in the company. We have 20 guys, but actually the first girl started today. So that's a game changer. Well, in the previous years, we had a lot of interesting customers. To make money, we did campaigns, but now we're focusing on experiences and enterprise solutions. And in the past, we brought back and we told stories about cultural heritage, bringing old stories alive in old cities. We did interior decorators in 2012. And I think up to now, that's still one of the most attractive interior decorators. Recently, we did that for a Scandinavian firm as well. They sell furniture as well. We did some interesting stuff for a company from France selling solar panels, where you can measure solar panels, visualize it, and directly order it. And now we're working on a really secret project, but 2 weeks ago it was released in the Dutch newspaper, so I can actually tell something about it. And it has to do with smart eyewear for police. Okay, but now the sexy product. Oh, the sexy product. And it's called Autolift. An Autolift is a really good case where they save money, where they make money, and increase their revenues. And all the projects that we do that based on the value chain. And in this case, I used Porter's value chain, where we make visible what the activities of a company are, the primary activities, support activities. And as Twinkles, we want to tick as much boxes as possible. And we tick boxes with our own technology, proprietary Twinkles technology, but we use also software development kits from other vendors, and some of the vendors are also here with their own booth. If you look at the process of a company like Autolift, they have a huge sales force, they have planners in the plants, they have to create a lot of production, and they have installers. And this process takes 1.5 months from selling to delivering. And the case I'm presenting now, we reduce sales from 1.5 weeks to 1.5 hours. We reduced the whole process from 1.5 months to 1.5 days. And that is actually a game changer, a disruptive technology in their business. And that's why this is a really good case. So that's why I found stair lifts for elderly and handicapped people really a sexy product. Well, this is how the product looks like. We create a sales tool for them. We developed 2 tools. One is a sales tool. one is a measurement tool. When they want to sell their products, they had to go to customers explaining what their product is and what it does. And they needed 2 to 3 visits to sell a product. With our tool, they can sell the product with 1.5 visits. So that's actually a reduction in time and a reduction in costs. We can see that with this tool, the sales increase, so there's a much more conversion. And when we show that to the grandma and grandpa, showing how their virtual stair lift looks in their hall, we make a copy of that, add it to the proposal, and then the competitors, they have a Word document, they have, well, probably a PDF, but they have a picture of grandma and grandpa in their house with their virtual stair lift. So that will boost sales. Once it is sold, a stair lift is a unique product, so it has to be produced every time, again and again, especially for that situation. Once it is produced, we have to measure it. And in the old days, engineers had to measure the stairs. But now a salesperson can measure stairs by having an iPad, putting some markers on the stairs, scanning the markers from different angles. And if you scan them from 3 angles, they all get green. There's a kind of gamification in there. And when they're all green, we know that we have a precise measurement with an error of 0.2%. And that is running on an iPad with a camera from $2, $3. So it's not a professional camera. So within the 10-15 minutes when it is scanned, and this is actually a slide, this is a benchmark of how they, in the old days, how they measured it. And what you can see in the middle is that with our tool, it's 1269 millimeters, and doing it by hand, it's 1270. So I keep asking them why do they do it still wrong, but because our tool does it better and faster. But on the iPad, we create a measurement, but we also create a 3D reconstruction. And that 3D reconstruction is sent via 4G directly to the planners in the plant. And they can start produce, when they have this file, it can be imported in SolidWorks, a 3D program, and they can start directly producing the stairs, the rails. And actually the story that I'm telling right now is the same story that I told in 2013 in Santa Clara on stage. But now this technology, at that time we launched it, and now it is embedded into their operations. And they changed their product based on that knowledge because they said, okay, we have to make a custom rail, but why not make modules of rails? So the thing that we will launch by the end of the year is that you can scan and measure directly the stairs. The rail is visualized in modules, so you can see the different colors from the modules. And then they will have a drawing with the measurement in there. But there will be a stock keeping unit list. At the end of the measurement, you get a stock keeping unit list. So they can go to the van, pick out the modules that are measured and configured in the hall, and directly install it. So this is why this technology is so powerful if you put it in the right, well, business or in the right value chain. And that's how we can increase extra sales and reduce the installation time from 1.5 months to 1.5 days. And that's a huge competitive advantage. So the whole process, selling the stuff, measuring the stuff, installing the stuff, now takes only 1.5 days. Going back to the value chain of Porter, I think we ticked all the boxes in the value chain, because the salespeople become engineers now. Technology is all over in the company, and the thing that we have to do right now is the service part. And actually, you heard a lot of talks about service and what you can do with AR, so that will be the next step for us. Okay, this is one case that we did and that is already implemented. But we do have another customer, and Jordy van der Velde, who's innovation manager from WeMo, also a company from the Netherlands. He will tell something about the Operator 2.0 and what we can do with that. Jordy, can you come on stage?
My name is Jordy van der Velde, and I work for a Dutch company called WeMo. And WeMo is a manufacturer of fully automated production lines for sheet metal working. Basically, we create machinery that forms sheet metal into functional products. And to give you a typical idea of what our machines are like, we made a machine this year that's about 45 meters long, and it produces steel lockers. It was specifically designed for this customer, and he was very happy with it, because we always specifically design it for our customers. It's a reason we have such an unusual high customer satisfaction rate, because we can give our customers exactly what they want. But we are still always trying to improve our machines, and not just technological improvements. We also like to look at the way they are designed and how the users interact with them. And that all has to do with our company vision. Because we at WeMo believe that man and machine need to work together as good as possible to achieve the highest levels of efficiency, productivity, and usability. The implications are that we don't just want to improve our machines, we also want to improve the machine operators and their quality of life. So the big question for us was, how can we easily improve our machines and the machine operators? So how can we kill two birds with one stone? Well, we immediately knew that augmented reality would have a huge added value for our production lines. Because you have to imagine that every piece of work revolves around the human-machine interface, which in this case, or in our case, is nothing more than a console with a monitor and a keyboard. And if you remember that our machines can easily be 50 meters long, and that you have to walk to and from a computer constantly, that can become a very tedious day at work. And we don't want our machines to be boring to work with. So we immediately saw the huge potential that augmented reality smart glasses have just for their mobility alone. But we at WeMo knew there had to be more. There had to be more advantages than just mobility. So together with TWNKLS, we started a project to just implement augmented reality into our value chain and see where it would go from there. And in the end, we found 4 areas with which we could empower the machine operator. 4 areas with which we could create Machine Operator 2.0. And these 4 areas were translated into 4 key functionalities for our application. And the first one is the schedule. You have to imagine that there are multiple schedules revolving around a production line. You have the production schedule, you have the maintenance schedule. And all these are basically come down to tasks for the machine operator to perform. So we made a complete overview of all the tasks they have to do around the production line, but also how they should perform that task. Well, you might wonder, what are the added benefits of that? Well, a recent study showed that when you augment instructions while performing a task, that human errors are reduced by 90%. And not only that, they complete the job 35% faster than everybody else. So if we could achieve similar results, then we can make machine operators more valuable for their company. And not only that, we empower the machine operators because they can do their job faster and better than ever before. So they can now do their task better. The real challenge was making sure they do the right task or choose the right tasks. And to achieve that, we also included the machine status. You can now watch the machine status real time from wherever you are. And the two main functionalities of this involves the overall equipment efficiency, so that you can always see how efficient your machine is at any given point, but also an overview of predictive maintenance. So you can see which components will fail first and when they need to be replaced. There's even going to be a big Order Now button, just to save some time. No matter how we fill this functionality, what comes down to the most important part is that they now have the critical information so that the machine operator himself can decide what to do next. So we give him more authority, so we give him more empowerment. So they can now choose the correct task, and they can now perform the right task. But to perform the right task, you also need to have the right tools. And that's why we added the machine controls. Now the operator can control the production line from wherever he is at any time, wherever he needs to be. And of course, this saves time. But the real added value lies in the user comfort. Because you have to imagine that the boring part, or the tedious part of walking to and from a computer constantly, is now cut out. So he has more time to do actual meaningful work, which in time will result into the fact that the machine operator will look at his work and will find more fulfillment in it. And that eventually will result into a higher employee satisfaction rate. To help the machine operator even further, we also made a direct connection with our customer care department. With just one push of a button, the machine operator can now talk directly to somebody from WeMo. And not just talk. Thanks to the magic of smart glasses, the person from WeMo can look directly with him so that they can establish the problem or give assistance together. And thanks to AR, the WeMo employee can even annotate instructions or help on his surroundings so that the employee can fix the problem himself. Again, making him more valuable through empowerment. And these are just 4 steps, but they are the first 4 steps. We have many augmented reality projects in our pipeline, but we can only begin to imagine where we will finally be, what the future will hold for us. In the meantime, we'll continue our mission to empower machine operators and eventually everybody who works with our machines. And I can give you the guarantee that augmented reality will have a lasting and crucial part in that. Thank you.